Oh wait, no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to this show wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube at the Trophy Room channel. And if you like what you hear, please consider dropping us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or if you really like us, you can throw us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said and all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, how are you, sir?
Doing fantastic. A little bit of a bittersweet day because
Yeah.
my oldest niece turned 10. And everyone always talks about, like, you know, cherish those moments when they're younger because they're going to get old quick. That decade flew by fast. Let me tell you, I'm feeling it today.
Yeah.
Very sad, but I'm very proud of her. So it was a very happy day.
Well, congratulations to her. Congratulations on you being the best uncle in the world. And I screwed up on the intro a little bit because I'm so nervous now. You're Mr. Big Shot. I'm on PS I Love You. I'm so much better than Joe now. How was it?
Get out of here with that.
How was your time?
It was good. It was a good time. I'm so grateful for them to just give me that chance to showcase my passion for the thing I love the most, PlayStation and games. And I just am so grateful for that chance and opportunity because not many people get that. And I hope I made everyone proud here at the community or outside of the community. Anyone that listened to it really, I hope thought the show was great. And the episode was fantastic. And I love them very much for that.
Dude, you crushed it so hard, man. I was so proud of you. I talked a little bit to you before the show started of like, I usually get nervous when I see my friends on shows because I'm afraid they're going to flub up. And you did so well. I was just like, I got to let these guys know that you're not taking my co-host away from me. So I gave a very threatening email to Greg Miller. I said, listen here, he's my co-host. You hear me? He's mine. But
I didn't sign no contract. What are you talking about?
Dude, you did so great. And seeing like just the response online because you are the greatest person in the world. And just people congratulate you because they know who you are and they know how amazing you are. My heart grew like all the sizes bigger. So
yeah, I was a big puddle of tears after that because it was a lot.
Dude, you were
good
so
tears,
good.
happy tears, not sad tears. Just like that amount of love and support is new, and it's coming all fast. And I just thank everyone so much. It's fantastic.
And with that, we have a special guest with us. You've seen her words on Uppercut, on Up Rocks, and on GameSpot. Miss Jessica Howard, how are you?
Good. Hi, everybody. I am great. And Kyle, congratulations from me as well.
Oh,
that is
thank you,
just
Jess.
so cool, so well deserved. It's really fantastic seeing people like you and even like Alex O'Neill earlier this year, like these like long time like creators, people who are just like so passionate about their communities and about games, like getting these opportunities because it's so deserved.
Thank you.
Just congratulations again.
Thanks,
it's
Jess.
so cool.
I mean, big congrats to you. Like, I love seeing you blow up and going everywhere and kicking ass. Like, it's awesome.
Oh, thank you. So as of right now, I've only been on a kind of funny stream. So we'll
That's
have
fair.
to see. We'll have to see if we can. I played Clue with Blessing.
Yeah.
And
Love a good clue. Love
good Clue.
Yeah, it's awesome to see so many great people make their way up the ranks. And just to know that, like, you know, you're in such good company, like you mentioned earlier, it's awesome to see really good people succeed. And like I think of like Alex Van Aken of like, you know, seeing how hard he works and seeing him make it, seeing Blessing make it, seeing you, it's awesome to see people, good people, you know, get into positions of where they can actually make some positive change. So it's awesome. And thank you so much for being here, Jessica.
Thank you for having me. I'm stoked. Very excited to talk to both of you.
Absolutely. And with that, before we get into it, I want you to have a little pitch here of what is Uppercut. What are you all about? What do y'all do over there?
So Uppercut is, what's so funny is I was just on a podcast yesterday and I kind of described like what I do there as I am like the Uppercut mom, because I've realized like that's kind of basically what it is. And so Uppercut is a site that I created with the editor-in-chief, or not I created. Ty is really the person who created it. I totally need to give Ty credit for that. Ty started a blog. It turned into a site. Ty's the editor-in-chief over there. Brought along, myself, my husband Andrew, Monty, and our friend Kayla. And it's the 5 of us just kind of writing and talking about games through a marginalized lens. We try to bring on as many diverse voices and uplift them as often as we can. Focus a lot on bringing in freelance writers. We have a couple podcasts that we do over there. We do Palin Around, which is the one that I host, and that one is once a month. We talk about a big like games media or games industry topic, whether it is like something that's more industry related, or if it's something that like we've noticed in games and it's kind of delving into games criticism. We also do indie mixtape, which is when we talk about indie games, because that's a lot of our focus over there, is promoting these games that maybe don't have the recognition that a lot of AAA titles do, have a lot of that PR, and that's what we do over there. I love it a lot. I work with 4 fantastic people, and yeah, I think that the mom thing, the reason I said this, because it's just so fresh in my mind, is because I talked about that yesterday, and I was like, because they're like, how would you describe what you do there? And I was like, well, Ty handles the finances.
I make the snacks.
I make the snacks. I check in and I see how everybody's doing. I take the notes to organize the meetings. But yeah, I don't know. I love it over there. It's fantastic.
Awesome. And I love all your work.
You guys do great work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about, Kyle, this one's for you, man. We're talking about the possibility of Warner Brothers games being up for sale yet again, question mark. We're going to be talking about the Summer Game Fest that is in lock for next month. Starfield not coming to PlayStation 5, which is kind of obvious. Hades possibly coming to the PlayStation 4. Last of Us Performance Mode. But before we get into all of that, I want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. I want to thank our newest members, Michael Moore, not that one, not the famous one, this one from England. Thank you so much for becoming a Bronze Plus member. I want to thank our good friend Robbie Bobby Miller for upping his pledge to the Silver Plus tier. I want to thank our Platinum producers, Todd Burowitz and Too Soon, our Gold producers, Chaotic Monkey, Gavin Goffrey, Griffin West, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Red, Metal Kirby, our Silver Plus members, Hide Indoors, Marcus O'Neill, just Ray, JB the Purple Monkey, Jadis Vaughn Metal, Tim Ulf, and Justin Rodriguez. Thank you all so much for keeping this show going. It's the reason, because of your patronage, of why we look so good, why we sound so great, and all that. So if we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, whatever the case may be, it really does help us out, really does keep this show afloat. Patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. With that said, Kyle, it is time. Are you ready? Scrap the news? Let's do it.
Chandler Wood over at PS Lifestyle writes, Warner Brothers Interactive will be broken up in some way as AT&T spins off Warner Media to Discovery. Warner Brothers Interactive, WB Games, and its various studios are set to be broken up in some fashion as part of AT&T's larger plan to sell and merge Warner Media with Discovery. While we don't know the full scope of how it will affect WB Games, it's been confirmed that the sale will include, quote, some but not all, end quote, of Warner Brothers Interactive and WB Games. When asked for comment by Axios, a rep simply said, quote, some of the gaming arm will stay with AT&T and some will go with the new company. They did not further elaborate on the details. Axios' Steven Totillo says that there are 11 studios listed under WB Games, including Avalanche, who are doing Hogwarts Legacy, NetherRealm, Mortal Kombat, Rocksteady, Batman Arkham, and a variety of others. It's unclear how the sale to Discovery and splitting of the gaming division will impact upcoming games from the assorted studios. The sale as a whole is part of AT&T getting out of the media business, so it's curious that the sale and merger with Discovery wouldn't include everything all up. The rep's quote specifically says some will stay with AT&T, which is an odd choice given the aim that this sale and merger being leaving the media business. This leaves open questions about which studios are being left out and where they'll end up once the dust has settled. It also brings back the rumors that Warner Brothers Interactive had interested buyers from mid last year. At the time, it was reported that AT&T had decided to hold on to WB Games, but this now confirmed deal says they've made a shift once again as they get out of media altogether.
It is so strange because, like, we cover games here, right? And I'm an idiot anywhere else. And so when I hear like, oh, AT&T bought, Time Warner, this is news to me, and it didn't go well. That's shocking. I didn't think of this. And I literally had someone like talk to me about what's going on over there in the business front. And I was just like, so just explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, very simple child even. Like, I have no idea. But it leads into this discussion that we've had about AT&T, first off, seemingly very poor handling of Warner Brothers and all their IP. So much so that in less than around 3 years of actually owning that company, they're just deciding to just let it go and start selling off pieces of it. And the thing that I found interesting as well, they're even thinking about like selling DC Comics off as well. Like, there's just a lot of things on the chopping block that is just very surprising, and kind of like it's a buyer's paradise over here. It's like everything must go. That said, last year we talked about WB Games possibly being up for sale. People like EA, Activision, PlayStation, and Microsoft interested in purchasing them. We have a viewer question here. Usually you can send us your questions over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter or the Trophy Room Discord server. This one slipped through the cracks. I don't like this guy. I think he's a real piece of garbage. Luke Lore from the Xbox Expansion Pass writes in, again, who's arguably the worst person I've ever met, saying this. Hey Kyle, how are you feeling, dude? Joe, you suck. Good. Jessica, I don't know you, but I hope you have a great episode. Panel, WB Montreal or the Batman IP went to Sony or Xbox. What potential benefits / harm could that have for the superhero genre of games? Jess, I'm going to toss this one over to you. What does this mean?
So yeah. We're talking about if W Montreal or Batman IP went to Xbox or Sony, and confirming the question, looking at this. Yeah. It's hard to say because, I mean, the thing is it's like we already do have exclusive superhero games. Like, we already do have Spider-Man and Avengers, which are both on PlayStation. So I can't foresee it being anything that's like a major shakeup or super unexpected, but I guess it's disappointing. I mean, I feel like it's disappointing anytime, something becomes less accessible for more players. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I see. Like, it doesn't surprise me. At the same time, though, from what I read of this story, it didn't sound like, to me, they wanted to get rid of the studios that were working on their big licensed properties. So I read an IGN piece, and that's what kind of they said. I pulled it up. Let me see. Let me see what IGN said here.
Yeah, absolutely. Because to me, as you look, it wouldn't make sense to pull those games out because you have a potential to make some really good cash out of that and some IP as well that you kind of hold on to. Like, for better or for worse, you get Hogwarts Legacy, but you get NetherRealm with Mortal Kombat, Rockstead with the Batman Arkham game, and then Montreal with Gotham Knights. It kind of makes sense to just hold on to them at least for a little while longer while they're still at work making those games, so you could get the money on those games when they come out, and then plus when you eventually probably sell them afterwards. Just makes sense.
So this is what I found kind of confirming. It's like, so what about Warner Brothers Interactive? This one is a little more confusing. AT&T told IGN that part of Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment will be sold off, but not all of it. WBIE lists 11 different game studios. This includes Warner Brothers NetherRealm. So what does that mean for my favorite games? There's a good chance that a lot of those will continue, especially if they bleed into Warner Brothers' top IP. Other studios might not work on games with one-to-one ties to Warner Media IP. For example, TT Games works mostly on Lego games. Warner Media doesn't have close ties to Lego games. Universal does. So if you're looking to sell studios, that's the type of places where they'd start. So things that have their major players in it, I don't think they're likely to part with right away.
Yeah.
And I think that even kind of makes Avalanche a bit safe right now too, right? Because Hogwarts Legacy is coming out next year. So I don't think that, and this is kind of everything that I've read about it has kind of said that nothing is going to be changing very soon. Like the whole part of this whole merger is because Discover and not HBO, Warner wanted to kind of form a conglomerate that could take on like Disney Plus or Netflix and like be up there with like the top streaming services. So as of right now, they've said that they're not going to get rid of either streaming service. You can still, I think it's like 15 for HBO, 7 for Discovery is what it was. And you can still separately pay for those and you'll get everything. There's not any changes made this year. And I think that it's going to kind of be it's going to be a slow process.
Okay. So we still have Batman for now. What you're telling me, Jess?
Yeah, I think so. Based on what I have read.
No, you sound like the expert here. I'm gonna take your word for it. I like this because Kyle, this is the one thing we fear, right? Like Batman be taken from us, just like his parents were from him. So, like, Kyle, what do you say for Luke's question here? So, yeah, it's safe for now. Things ain't changing, but what if they do, Kyle? What if they do? What does that mean for superhero games?
Again, everyone listening to this knows selfishly I would love for Batman to still be on my Sony PlayStation. It would suck for me to see Batman become an Xbox exclusive just because they don't own that console, that ecosystem yet. Eventually, at some point, I will. But on the flip side of that, I'm going to be a bit of a contrarian here.
Okay.
I don't know if I want Sony to own Batman either, because then all the superhero games are in one spot. Like
isn't that awesome, Kyle?
In a way, yes, but also, I don't want. Everyone was upset like the Spider-Man exclusive thing in Avengers is on PlayStation, right? That I can understand why, but like if all the superhero games are on one platform, it's a big red flag for a lot of people outside of PlayStation. That'd be super bummed. Again, would love it, but it's not good for video game as a whole. I feel like to just like these beloved characters only on one spot, and this is all you can like.
Kyle, read the room here. We're a PlayStation show. You can't say,
"Yeah, I know, man.
Let's give Xbox something," because then they'll think we're too nice, and then we'll think we're too lenient. You know,
I'm not saying Xbox buy Batman. I'm just saying let the Batman go everywhere that he wants to go. Let him be free.
Let him be free.
Let the bat fly free.
Exactly.
And give us Batfleck. Okay, give us one more. We deserve it. It was so good.
I will say what I would
be on it.
What I would hope out of this eventually at some point is I want somebody to do with Harry Potter what they did with George Lucas and just rip that away from J.K. Rowling, because fuck J.K. Rowling.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
And then I can feel good about being a HP fan and buying HP stuff, but that's the big if there. But yeah, I don't think, like Jess was saying in that other article, I don't think these works are going to be like, they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of think so too, and I kind of think as well, like, I don't think Batman would be on the chopping block for them at this point in time.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be stuff like the article mentioned, like TT Games with the Lego games, or I think like I could even see NetherRealm going somewhere else. I could see
NetherRealm's a big one.
That's the thing I was thinking, actually. Yeah.
And I mean, and if that's the case, then the way that we see that is like we might not get the Mortal Kombat DC games, things like that. So, which is kind of a bummer. I know a lot of people really like those.
Oh, and
we won't ever get to.
Even for comic book fans, I mean, they're just announced they're making an Injustice animated movie, because of how popular that game is. And I think you're right, Jess. I think the one that would be there to kind of go would be NetherRealm. And I think out of all the studios, I kind of think if you're Sony, that's the one you want the most. Because, like, Batman, great, awesome, but you already have your superhero game with Spider-Man, and you have to work out another licensing deal as well with them. And so if you had NetherRealm, which hold the IP to Mortal Kombat, well, that's an audience that Sony has been very interested in tapping into with their esports, and they already have a very deep partnership and relationship with Mortal Kombat. And what did they just buy as well? PlayStation just buy the fighting tournament Evo, there you go. Yeah, they just bought Evo as well, so I'm thinking that would be probably the one you're actually interested in the most. Kyle, am I crazy here? Would you see that as a possibility?
I think that's a great call with the Evo connection. I think that just makes sense. Is because like PlayStation also has a history of locking down a fighter when it comes to like Street Fighter.
Yeah,
that was console exclusive on PS4, and it hasn't been anywhere. I don't think it's been on Xbox after that point either. I could be wrong, but like they have a history of locking down these iconic fighters, and what better way than to just buy the second biggest fighting franchise of all time in Mortal Kombat and NetherRealm.
Yeah, I think that would make the most sense. But I also think that this is one of those stories that I think just knocked out of the park here. Is I don't think you're seeing anything move at this very point in time because of how far into production they are with these titles. If we're just a year out from Hogwarts, if you're just a year out from Gotham Knights and whatever Rocksteady's hopefully up to is in fruition, if they're in deep progress, I don't think you want to throw away that progress with a sale. I think you kind of want to hold on to that IP, hold on to those studios, because I don't think
the new Lego Star Wars game that's been worked on forever at this point.
I can't wait. Me and Jedi Master Ren. That's his most anticipated. That's so up there for. Yeah.
I do think too that once we come out of this like small lull of delays because of COVID, and we start to see these games that have been in production for the past couple years that were all supposed to come out like this year or the end of last year that have just gotten pushed, we might kind of see what WB's priorities are. Because for instance, I mean, if some of these games like come and they knock stuff out of the park, like that's going to cause them to reevaluate things. I think that right now, because of that, they might honestly be kind of scared, and that might be part of the reason they're like, what can we get rid of? Is because everybody's like, they're not everybody. I mean, the games honestly last year had a really good year, but there's still a lot of people who are scared about these gambles and these risks that they're taking with making these games. So that could be part of why they are like looking at their portfolio and seeing what they could get rid of, what they could part ways with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it would be it would
the stupid boardroom suits, like only worried about bottom lines. Like, that's what CD Projekt Red ran into with Cyberpunk. They just like, here, put it out, just put it out. It's time. Enough delays, kind of thing.
Yeah, and
I think.
Go for it.
Oh no! I think the saving grace really with the Batman games though, and why I'm not super worried is like. Right now, everything is about licensed property, like already, you know what I mean, like long-standing properties and like the IPs that these places have. And like, if anything, this story is kind of just indicative of the larger problem of monopolies and like that they have to forge these unions so that they can compete with like Netflix or who, you know what I mean? Because like part of this is for the streaming stuff. Like part of this is for the television side of this. It's not just games. But like. Yeah, it's like it's who can have the best crossover, who can have the best this, who can have the best streaming platform. And it's a wild ride. It's a very wild and unpredictable yet completely predictable ride.
Yeah, I mean,
it's becoming overwhelming.
Really,
all these streaming service, everyone has their own streaming thing.
Yeah, like I love HBO Max. I think it's great. I absolutely love it. Like last night, I got into Mythic Quest on Apple TV. Ooh. It took a few episodes, but like I am so in. And episode 4 is just like it hits me where I live. So yeah, like
Mythic Quest is so good.
It's so good. It's so freaking good. So that said, like yeah, everybody's kind of trying to compete with the Netflix and Disney route, and yeah, it is like so predictable of like half of these services are just going to flutter and fail, and the very few are going to succeed. And yeah, we're kind of seeing the reaction to all that in real time. It's pretty nuts to see. You know what else is pretty nuts to see though, Kyle?
What?
Summer Game Fest taking up this whole goddamn summer yet again.
Summer Game Fest locked in for next month will showcase content from 30 different partners. This article comes from Alex Gibson over at Twinfinite. As expected, after a successful debut last year, Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest is set to make a return in 2021 with another showcase. Today, though, the company has announced its schedule for the first time. The opening day, commencing on Thursday, June 10th, will feature a live performance from rock band Weezer and a Day of the Devs event, all of which will be streamed live across Twitch, YouTube, and other channels. The calendar for the month-long event is already available over on the Summer Games Fest website, which includes digital showcases like Ubisoft's Forward, Steam Next, and EA Play. More are expected to be added as we get closer to June. Although there's nothing specifically locked in yet in terms of what sort of content will be shown, we do know that Summer Games Fest is collaborating with 30 different partners, including the likes of PlayStation, Activision, Blizzard, Riot, Warner Brothers, Koch Media, and many more.
Oh my goodness. It's just, you have possibly the widest announcement where you're like, hey, yo, we got Weezer. Anybody? White guys age of 30? Huh? Isn't this exciting?
I just love that they have to add rock band Weezer.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Weezer can stand on its own without having a rock band.
The rock band Weezer.
Yeah.
What's so funny is you said rock band Weezer, and in my mind, I went to like, why are they advertising them for like being in rock band?
Yes.
Because that's where my mind went.
Like Guitar Hero Metallica or something. Like, oh my god, rock band's back with Weezer.
You can maybe,
So
you know
good.
what? You can mistake it as Ubisoft's Rocksmith Weezer.
Oh.
You never know.
True. There you go.
So, just a little snippet. Also, there will be a show on June 10th. This comes from, oh my god, why am I blanking on his name?
Jeff
Keighley. I'm just paraphrasing. There will be a show on June 10th. 12 premieres, 2 hours long, according to Jeff Keighley on Twitter. And then our good friend Boxenberger writes in, which, real talk, breaking in here. I am so happy you are better. You recovered from COVID. You had a very close call.
Oh.
Love you, buddy. Thank you. He writes in, Keighley is going to start this thing 2 days before E3. That's weird. Do I have the feeling that something is wrong with E3? We still don't know anything about it. No dates, no publishers, no shows, no nothing. It's less than a month away. And even when it comes to the Ubisoft thing, and this is just me, like, Ubisoft is Summer Game Fest and it's a part of E3. Even Jeff kind of said, like, yeah, it'll be at E3, but it'll also be on Summer Game Fest. They're like, Jess, do you think that this is Jeff Keighley's move of trying to overshadow E3?
It could be.
It kind of sounds like it, right?
I think that E3 has been in decline. And I think, that's just kind of, it's weird because attendance is up, right? But or at least from people, but it was getting to the point where it was like overcrowded. And then there's all of these like issues that happen at these conferences. And then last year it had to be all digital. And so it's like, and there's just been people who've been pulling out of it. There was that leak of all of the information that came out about all of the journalists who are covering E3, and it made like journalists be like, well, I don't even want a media pass anymore because like my address was given out to people who hate me. So it's like there are all these hesitations now with E3, and I think that the time is right for Jeff Keighley to come in and swoop that shit up. Because he's kind of already known for doing the Game Awards. Like, he's a big face as far as hosting goes in games media. So
kind of makes sense.
It could definitely be that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Kyle, like he's been outmaneuvering the E3 or ESA for a while now. And do you think that this is him kind of doing a red wedding to E3 of like, yeah, you have this show, and guess what? You can have this show, and those partners that are participating will also be participating in my thing. So suck it, ESA board. Like, what are your thoughts on this, man? Do you think this is Jeff Keighley just giving the axe to E3?
I think it's definitely a step in that direction, for sure. He definitely knows what he's doing about choosing the timing of this, and it's good to see that he's learning from what I think a lot of people were saying about last year, how there was just too much on too many different days, and it was just a lot over a course of a long period of time. And now it's just like another like Game Awards kind of show, 2 hours long, kind of like Gamescom, the opening night live thing. So I'm happy he's learning from that. It's cool that all these different partners are going to be in this as well as E3, because like Boxenberger was saying, like, we know that some are still participating in E3, but what is that going to look like since it's all digital? When are we getting these press conference dates, whatever? Like, even like EA, right? The EA showcase is in July. It's like a full month later.
Yeah.
Like, it's very odd how things are so in flux, and we're supposed to be less than a month away at this point now. Like,
I feel
it's freaking me out as just a fan of E3 and press conferences, not knowing when to mark on my calendar and be like, hey, don't bother me here on this date and time.
I feel like they didn't learn anything, to be honest. Like, when I see this move, it's like, yeah, we're going to have a kickoff on June 10th. Great. 12 premieres, probably more. Great. 2 hours long. All right. But, like, all these are fine. But you're right. Like, we still have an Ubisoft Forward a week afterwards. We still have an EA Play in July. We have no idea what PlayStation's doing, which we'll get to in a sec. Like, it seems like they really just went more of the same, and we're all kind of scared to kind of step on each other's toes. That we'll just do the same thing we did last year. To me, it kind of muddles things for me. Like, yeah, we're weeks away from E3 at this point. We still really don't have a strong structure of what's happening here. We know Xbox will be there in a way. We know Nintendo will be there in a way. Ubisoft will be there, sort of. And like, that's kind of it. And so my question comes back to you, Kyle. When it comes to PlayStation, they're skipping E3 yet again. Good on them. When do you put out your show? When is that state of play? Is it during, the Xbox event? Is it a day after, a week after? Where would you put this sucker?
That's a good question.
Well, I'm the host of this show, baby. I know how to navigate.
Let's see. This is June 10th. 2 days before, right? I'm going to say June 11th.
June 11th.
I'm going to say PlayStation will be like, here, right before E3 starts. Probably not. That's stupid. I don't think they would do it on a Friday.
I love how you're like, I'm going to cement this in stone. Actually, I'm going to walk it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna work through it live on camera.
Yeah, workshop it with me, Kyle.
I definitely don't think it's before June 10th.
Okay.
I think during the show, Sony will have like a premiere, and they'll be like, hey, stay tuned in blah, blah, blah. And then we'll get the date of whenever, like the state of play or whatever they're going to call it. And it'll be like in a week or two, maybe.
The Future of Games Part 2? Or Part Ducks?
That'd be good.
It's friendship.
I don't know. Because, like, they have to have a show, right? Yeah. We need to know the Horizon date. We have to know Horizon from West.
I was on a show just a few days ago, and I forget if it was me or someone else saying, like, PlayStation's the best at taking the wind out of their competitors' sails. So, like, I don't think there is a way that they go before Xbox. I actually think they're probably a little bit intimidated, since you have the Bethesda show and Xbox show shaking hands and handing each other off to their respective showcases. So I think if you're at PlayStation, you kind of want to sit back and just see what you can do and how you can maneuver your show and see the best way to take the wind out of Xbox's sail. To me, it would make sense. Like, okay, do we do it a week after? Do we do it a few days after? What's the game plan here? And I think Sony's probably smart for doing that, for being so, I guess, lucid with how they're handling things. Is that a word I'm going to use? Adam Leonard, correct me. Jess, I go to you. When do you think this state of play is happening? Since it's part of Summer Game Fest. And since you're a guest here, I want to know a crazy prediction from you. I want to know what you would like to see, your pie in the sky, what you'd like to see from State of Play. Is it a new IP? Is it a sequel? Is it a remaster, remake? Tell me.
I bring back Sly Cooper. No.
Yes!
But
do it.
that's my crazy demand. I don't know. So I I kind of agree with you. I feel like PlayStation generally, I mean, because they even did this, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a bit. Whenever the console prices were finally dropped, it was Xbox first, and then PlayStation like 2 days after, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something crazy.
I feel like
that.
PlayStation and like even the consoles were the same way too. Like PlayStation is very good at like observing, and like kind of knowing when to strike. And so I agree with you, Joe. I think that it's probably going to be a little bit after. It's going to be a little bit later on. And maybe still during E3, because maybe, who knows, maybe they're going to be a little bit petty. Maybe they're going to be like, oh, E3, people are watching, you got a high viewer count. Well, you know, I don't know. I really don't think they're that vengeful and petty, but like, it's just something that I could see happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that there are so many projects that are in the works. So I'm really kind of expecting to see more of like God of War. And I'm expecting to see more from Horizon. I think those are going to be like the two things that they really like hang on to. What else do I think? I think that, oh my gosh, what is the game that I am thinking of that I think Platinum is working on?
Ooh.
Oh, I know this.
Kyle, you get it.
Babylon's Fall?
Yes, Babylon's Fall. That's exactly it.
Kyle with the C.
I think that we're going to see some of that. And I think we're going to find out a little bit more information about it. And I think that it somehow is connected to Nier.
Ooh.
I think that that's going to happen.
Okay. I like it.
We'll see.
I like it. Like, honestly, you came at us at left field here. I love it. To me personally, and maybe it's because I got a little stakes in here, but it has been for me like the killer thing you just ended the show with. It's been 2,247 days since the launch of Bloodborne. You just give us anything. I saw people are tweeting at me that it was like, there's a guy that said certain words that if you can connect them together, it says Bloodborne. And I'm like,
oh, that's so good.
Don't give me hope, internet. Don't give me hope just to see my dreams die in front of me. But that's all I need. And you're right. Like for like after God of War and like Horizon, it's like, what is it like? There couldn't honestly be another Spider-Man, right? Like it's so close to Miles, but then you think Miles is so close after Spider-Man PS4, so it just gets you wondering. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the devs come out, like the second party devs, the ex-dev teams come out and show their new IP as well. I really love the direction that PlayStation's going, partnering with smaller studios, partnering with medium-sized devs to really crank out some new IP and some new ideas. So, yeah,
I definitely think we'll see that Firewalk Studios game.
Oh, really?
Because I believe it's been like in maybe not development, like proper development, but like 2018, the idea was being floated around. And people were working on it for a couple of years at this point. So I think that might be farther along than a lot of people think. But so that would be a kind of a cool little splash. Like here's this first-person shooter exclusive multiplayer game here on PlayStation.
Yeah, that would be I think the obvious one too that I think nobody's really thinking about as well is Final Fantasy 16. Do you think that's a shoo-in as well?
Yes.
They still say it's coming out this year.
In my opinion, I think it does. Yeah. I don't know if it's coming out this year,
No
but I think
way,
it's definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
Also, they have so many indies they need to update as well.
Yeah.
So many from last year that we don't know anything about. Little Devil Inside, Stray, Jet the Far Shore, Goodbye Volcano High. All these need dates, and they all said they were coming this year. So I expect a lot of updates on that on the PlayStation front as well.
Are you going to be...
I'm curious to...
Go for it, Jess. Sorry.
Oh, I'm curious, like, if there's gonna be any like DLC or anything for The Last of Us 2, if there's gonna be anything from Naughty
like
Dog
factions?
on that. Yeah, I don't know, because like so as far as what I know, like the Naughty Soft. Wow, Naughty Dog. That's a horrible.
I love it.
Please, no one ever name your studio that. They talked about how Neil Druckmann and the co-writer, whose name I cannot remember her name right now.
Halle Gross.
Was it?
I believe it's Halle Gross. Or Haley Gross?
Oh, Haley. Yeah, Haley Gross. That's exactly, yeah. They have already written The Last of Us 3.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know if they're going to do it. They're like, yeah, we know what it would be, and, like, that's laid out, but, like, we like to look at all of our options before we, like, settle on something and say, okay, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So because that came out, like, a month ago, I feel like that means that they haven't settled on anything and are just looking at options. So I'm not expecting anything new.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you know, they're not just sitting there, like, fiddling around and being like, well, everybody just, like, chill for a minute. We're going to figure it out. Like, they're working on something. Yeah. So is there, like, an expansion or DLC coming out? Is there, like, a different game that they're like, I don't know, could they be going back to Jak and Daxter? Who knows?
God, I hope. I miss Jak and Daxter. Give us, you know what, be brave, PlayStation, give us a Jak and Daxter 3 remake, ground up. Kyle, your smile disappeared.
Because you started at 3. Why start at 3 with the remake? Go back to 1.
As a kid, I wasn't allowed GTA, and that was the closest thing I had to GTA.
I get that.
So, there you go.
My first experience with GTA was GTA 3 and Final Fantasy X. Got on the same day.
What a combo.
That's a good day.
Yeah, no, I mean...
It's an interesting thing to dual fist there.
Yeah, it was.
Listen, all this fun is all great, right? But there's something that we know is not coming. And that's Starfield on the PS5. Kyle, break this news for me.
Jeff Grubb over at VentureBeat writes, why Starfield won't be on PlayStation 5. Microsoft has no plans to release Bethesda's upcoming space role-playing adventure Starfield on Sony's competing PlayStation 5 console. That shouldn't surprise too many people after Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in March that Microsoft acquired Bethesda to add exclusives to Xbox Game Pass. Where Minecraft can exist as its own service, Starfield is about growing the Game Pass service. And even if Bethesda has ambitions to make massive connected live service games, it's unlikely that anything will turn into the next Minecraft. So an effort like a blockbuster game release from the team that made The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is best if Microsoft treats it as an investment into a larger service. Quote, with Game Pass now the center of the Xbox ecosystem, it is becoming more important for Microsoft to invest in exclusive content and IP that increases the value of the service that leads to new user acquisitions, end quote. Nyko Partners analyst Daniel Ahmad explained on Twitter.
B. Pelosi writes to us on Discord from the great land of Brazil. They say, hello, my friends of the Trophy Room. Here's a question for you. There was much speculation when Microsoft acquired Bethesda about whether or not the next intellectual property developed by Bethesda would be exclusive to Xbox. With the announcement of Starfield and the information that the game will not be present on Sony consoles, what do you think Sony's response will be? Development of new intellectual properties, acquisition of new developers, etc., etc. Now, I bring this to you, Kyle, first. What do you think? Is there a Sony response? What does Sony see when they see Starfield? Because I know, rumor has it, they did reach out to Bethesda and say, hey, we want to do a marketing deal with you. They did Deathloop, they're doing Ghostwire, but something fell through with Starfield. What do you think PlayStation's response is? Do you even think there is one?
I don't know what that response would look like, if I'm totally honest.
Yeah, me neither.
It's not like they could just make a big open world RPG just out of thin air to replace it. Because something I didn't think about, but when I was on PS I Love You, Bless was talking about, like, yeah, no, Starfield had a PlayStation version of that game being worked on. So, like, that thing exists in some form, in some sort of completion percentage. So it's weird to think that that's just sitting there and it's just not going to be used. All those man hours and thousands of hours of employees, developers working on this version of the game, and it's no longer being used. That's a little weird to think about. But I don't know what Sony can do as a response to this. I think, like, in some ways, that response is Final Fantasy 16 being console exclusive. Like, in some ways, these other third-party deals is that response of, like, all right, let's get these other games in as an exclusive to kind of, like, bolster why you should be playing over here. So I think by using those little deals and, like, over what's the number? 25 new IP,
Yep.
I think it was.
Oh no, like 12 or 13 new IP.
Yeah,
25
25
IP in total.
Exclusive games, yeah. I think that's where they make up ground and try to cover or make up for losing out on this massive brand new Bethesda RPG that won't be on their platform.
Yeah, I think you're right too. I think what we talked about last week actually speaks to that. I think the way Sony kind of claps back is they really can't just go out there and purchase things, willy-nilly, right? They just don't have the cash for that. But what they can do is partnerships, and luckily for PlayStation, they're pretty good at it. So I don't think necessarily it's like, okay, let's buy something with a spaceship. What's this Tesla I hear all about, Nothing like that. No, not Tesla. What's the space thing Elon Musk owns? SpaceX? Yeah. I'm an idiot. Whatever. That joke failed. But what won't is, I think Sony's response is what we're seeing. These second-party deals. What they have in the pipeline. That said, Jess, I go to you with a different question. Why was people surprised? Like, Microsoft purchased Bethesda. They said, hey, this is going to come to wherever there's an xCloud or Game Pass device. We don't got that here on PlayStation. And that they have pretty much the exclusives of Bethesda titles. Why are we acting like this is such a shock? I don't understand.
I don't understand either. This is not shocking in the slightest. Like, I think that anybody who thought, so I will say that whenever, who did I can't remember who did the conference where they were talking about, like, they were giving the details on it, or like the interview. But they said, like, oh, it was Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer was like, oh, it'll be on a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Is like what he used. It was like, it'd be a case by case basis. The second that I heard that, I'm like, this is a very nice way of saying, like, no, Elder Scrolls games, and but that they're not going to be on that. Yeah. Like, that is the nicest way. Like that's really all that is. And so I don't know why we're surprised. And as far as like what Sony is going to do to clap back, I think that instead we should look at it the other way and think like, this is Xbox clapping back, and they did so very effectively. Sony has always annihilated Xbox in terms of exclusives. Like, they really just have, And, like, I'm not trying to like, say anything bad about Xbox, because, like, I know, like, Gears and Halo, they're all very important series to a lot of people. But when it comes to, like, the big exclusive titles, I feel like Sony's just got it. And that acquisition was the best and smartest thing that Xbox could have done. And now we're seeing how it is. Like, if that's how it's going to be, if we are entering a media era in which, much like streaming services, everybody's owned by one or the other and everything is exclusive and everybody has to buy both, like, that's the environment that we're creating. And I think that if Sony continues to clap back, and Xbox does too, it's just going to kind of get nastier, and it's going to get harder for people it's going to be harder for the players. And at a certain point, like, I think that each one of these companies thinks like, I'm getting this to make our system the best, and like our play, like the player base, I guess, like they're going to have the most, we're offering the most to these people. But at a certain point, it becomes anti-consumer friendly, because it's like, really what you're doing is limiting people at a certain point, and just like kind of taking advantage financially. So I don't know. I think that that's kind of the way to look at this. It's kind of a little bit of a dark but real thing.
No, I think you're 100% right. Like, that's always the fear that I have, is the consolidation of the gaming industry. I can't wait to talk to my good friend Ains about this, because he shared some insight, because he's a much smarter man than I, about like consolidation in other markets, where he's just like, I'm not too concerned about games right now, but like for me, yeah, I just take a look at like how many publishers are there really, like for developers out there. It just feels like, for me, yeah, we just see companies buy companies, and then all of a sudden your choices are just whittled down to a select few, and that usually doesn't benefit us all too often. And so, like, yeah, I'm right there with you. I am a little concerned. I don't want Sony's response to like, okay, here's the wallet and here's what we can do. I really like the approach that Sony's doing of like, so we don't have that wallet. We're kind of strapped for cash a little bit in that way. So let's just do something we're really good at, which is like partnerships. Partnering with smaller teams, enabling them to do some crazy stuff like with Returnal. We keep on banging that drum on. It's just like that's a game that is unlike a Sony game in the likes of, it's just a shoot 'em up. It's a bullet hell, it's hard as all hell, and yeah, it's really different. It's telling a different tale. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I it's no surprise. Am I bummed out? Honestly, no. And I'm gonna say something, this is the hottest take. I don't understand why people are so excited about Starfield. I've seen a logo and maybe an image of like a game that's unfinished. I have no reason to be excited. Like they showed a picture of a hallway, I think, of a wall. I'm just like, cool, that's a wall.
I can say why I'm excited. I'm excited because I love space games. I love RPGs. So the fact that another massive open world, space RPG in the veins of Mass Effect, something brand new, that is super exciting. And it is a bummer that I won't be able to play it on my PlayStation, but by the time that comes out, hopefully I will own a Series X and be able to play it there.
Real talk,
I know, you're scratching your face.
Just get Series S.
Honestly, you know me. Hey, yeah. You know me. Physical games. Come on, I need that drive.
Kyle, listen, I've had an Xbox. I have not bought a game since like I don't even know when was Game Pass. I don't know. It's been a minute. Yeah.
I love Game Pass so much, but Kyle, I agree with you more and more lately. I'm like, maybe I don't. I feel like I'm turning into like that 70-year-old grandpa because I'm like, maybe I don't trust these digital games. Yep. I feel, I don't know. So I love Game Pass. Yeah. Like I bought my Xbox. Oh my God, they have too many fucking names.
Yeah, they do. I know. You're not allowed to say it, or else people yell at you. But they really do. Their naming conventions.
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so. Anyway, I bought it for like $100, and I was like, I don't even need to put discs in it because Game Pass, and like this is just my digital game machine. But I do think, like you, Kyle, if I get the next gen one, I'm gonna get the one with the discs. I kind of want to start collecting those again. So
yeah.
I'm over it. Now that I'm a digital boy forever. I love it. I don't, I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's so much less clutter. You should see this desk, gang. It's awful. It's just all of it. It's bad enough. So just thinking of like all the plastic boxes that be just strewn across this room is just, no, I could not handle it. So I'm really happy. I'm Digital Life and I've seen the light. That said, we have some flash news. Some quick takes, and then we'll get to the second portion of the show. First off, Hades has been rated for the PlayStation 4 by the Korean Rating Committee. This comes from Adam Bankhurst from IGN. Hades has been rated by the Korean Rating Board Administration Committee, hinting that Supergiant Games roguelike will soon make its way to other platforms beside PC and the Nintendo Switch. This was spotted by Mod Z, a Reset Era member. Hades' rating also indicates that Take-Two will be the publisher. Quick thoughts. Jess, question for you. Why did they make everybody fucking hot, dude? What's everybody?
They're all so hot. That game is a bisexual paradise. I am so excited. Realistically, like I am 100%. I know this is a PlayStation show, but I'm a Switch bitch. Anytime any indie comes out, I'm like, but is it coming on Switch? Like, same. I haven't picked up. I'm so like, I don't know why, but like I just like having my little indie machine. Like not like big AAA titles. Like I'm not gonna. I don't know if like. In a magical land, right, where like the new Horizon game is coming to all 3 systems, right? I would never in a million years pick a Switch then, but I like it as like my indie system. So like I don't know if I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation just because like I like playing it on my Switch. I've invested so much time into it on my Switch. It almost kind of seems weird that it's coming so late but then again, there's a lot of people who still haven't picked it up yet, and maybe this will be the way that they do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. The reason why I'm excited for it coming on PlayStation, because I do have it on my Switch, is that I have it on the Switch Lite, and the words, I can't read anything.
Oh, yeah.
I need like a magnifying glass. It's ridiculous. So like for me, I don't want to be like an old person reading a news, a crossword. I can't do that. So that's why I can't wait for the big screen. It's going to be real nice. Kyle, question for you. How excited are you for this?
I am so excited. Yeah. I've been beating the drum for Hades to come to PlayStation for so long. I own it on PC. I played it on there for a little bit. I prefer sitting on my couch and playing my games on my TV, so I'm very excited to see all
like
the
God intended, Kyle,
in 4K and be thirsty on my couch while playing this game. I want to experience that game to completion because like Supergiant is super talented, and I know Hades is such a great experience, and I just want to experience it all. And do it on the ecosystem that I prefer. So I'm very, very excited.
More on the Flash news. Last of Us Part 2 gets a performance patch for the PlayStation 5. Once patch 1, and this comes from Arnie Meyer from the PlayStation blog. Once patch 1.08, The Last of Us Part 2 is installed on your PlayStation 5, you can toggle the display options to allow you to choose between the frame rate target of 30 FPS to 60 FPS. This allows you to choose if you prefer a frame rate that complements the rest of the enhancements that are part of the PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility with PS4 games, such as enhanced resolution, faster load times, and more. So prepare to be sad and get no breaks in between because all the loads are super, super short. So you're going to have to pause when you're crying. Cool? Everybody likes this? This is great?
Yeah.
Awesome. And somehow I'm
surprised I want to go back in.
Same here. And then I'm not surprised because I went to the comment section and lo and behold, people are still upset about Abby's arms. So, it's nice to see that the internet doesn't change.
For those of you who are listening and not watching, I rolled my eyes so hard they hit the back of my skull.
Yeah, same. I was just like, oh man, humanity lost. The next bit of Flash news. Let's gain some humanity back. Let's get excited for just capitalism. All right, this is great. New DualSense colors. There are 2 new DualSense colors arriving in June 11th right now. Right on time for Ratchet and Clank with Midnight Black and Cosmic Red. Ooh. Our good friend Nakachaka writes via Discord, we know the smart choice is to buy both controllers. However, if you could only buy one, which would it be? And what colors would you like to see next from PlayStation? Jess, which one's prettier? I think it's the red one.
I like Cosmic Red too. Like, yes. If you're basic, okay, I don't mean basic in the mean way. I mean,
no, just say if you're a basic bitch, it's fine.
Yeah, no, but like if you want something basic, like I'm glad. I don't know. I kind of almost wish that I don't know. Like, I feel like the white controllers, like, that was my biggest thing when I first saw the system. I was like, white's going to get so dirty and gross. I clean controllers. I know how these things get. That's going to be nasty. So far, mine's been fine, though. So I kind of almost wish that black would have been, like, a standard. Like, there would have been 2 models but whatever. That doesn't matter. It didn't happen. But now that the fancy colors are coming, you got to go with the fancy color.
Right?
I think the red's pretty. It's like a nice, like Merlot, too.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to look for the best word. I'm like, crimson, but no, Merlot, like a nice wine. I love it. Kyle, you know, I'm the dumb son of a gun that bought both. Kyle.
I mean, I also bought both.
Yeah. You both bought both. Wow.
Jess,
I'm a sucker for controllers, Jess.
I was debating about the red one.
Yeah.
I was debating.
It's just like, again, I'm bad with money. I just need a little bit of happiness, and I felt like this is the right move. The thing I'm real pissed off about, Kyle, though, I went to order it on PlayStation Direct because you get it on the 11th. Everybody else is the 18th. No luck, no dice, dude.
Oh.
Constantly, it broke my heart because I'm like, I want this. I host a PlayStation podcast. How dare you, Sony? No reply since. But Kyle, which one are you buying for?
I really also like the red one. I'm also totally fine with the white controller because, like Jess, mine does not get dirty. Sorry, Joe.
Gross, Kyle. It gets
but
gross.
Like, to answer Nagachaka's other part of the question, like, what do I want next from PlayStation? Every single generation since 3, I have rocked a gold controller while playing on PlayStation. I would love a gold DualSense. I'm into pretty much all the offshoots. Like, one of my favorite DualShock 4s is the Uncharted 4 one with that cool like steel blue.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. Or like back on PS3, there's a tie-in with MLB The Show, and it was like a baseball themed DualShock 3, which was really, really cool. It had like the ribs from a baseball on it. So I'm just excited that they're acknowledging and bringing this back so soon. I could have sworn we weren't going to get new colors until like next year. So still upset that there is no version of like Design Lab for PlayStation.
We're about to actually. Also, customize? Dave's question was, would you like to see them have a
yes.
Plate? Yes,
absolutely.
Please,
what color
day,
would it
please.
be? What color would you pick, Jess, if you had a customized plate option?
So after I saw like the little like cosmic theme thing that they're doing, it looks like they're kind of going for like this like spacey, like, I don't know, it reminds me of like that galaxy background on like the default Macs for a while. Same. Right? Like, yes. I was thinking, I'm like, I want to see more like galaxy colors. Like, I want like a really cool purple or like a really cool pink, but not like a bright, like more like a magenta-y, like, and maybe have like a little bit of like, I don't know, not metallic. Metallic's the wrong word, but like a little bit of a gloss to it.
Yeah.
Like
so yeah, give me like some like raspberry glossy type ones or like a nice purple. That's what I want.
I'm
give
dying
me the
for
bisexual colors.
Yes, dude, give me the purple one. I love the purple DualShock. That's my favorite DualShock. I love the purple look, and just to see all those like it being cosmic-fied, that would be dope. Or blue. I would go for blue.
The bisexual colors. I'm telling you.
Is blue part of the bisexual flag?
It's like, yeah, it's like a
blue,
magenta,
pink.
blue, and like, yeah.
Let's go. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's form the flag together. Okay. Kyle.
Yeah.
What say you? You get to pick any color you want.
I mean, let's go Mets. You know what I'm saying? Orange and blue. Like, maybe not like a super bright orange, because that could be very annoying.
Yeah.
But like an orange with the option of doing like the touch button of blue.
Okay.
Or like swapping out like
you didn't want to complete the flag with us. That's fine.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'll buy any color. Like, it's fine.
That's
like,
true.
I'll have a collection of 20 DualSenses if they're all different colors. Like, that's gonna be my house.
This is the foundation. DualSense. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Some more Flash news, but Kyle, we're bringing back a segment. Okay, it's been too long. It's been literally a year since. Jess, are you holding on to something?
Am I holding on to something?
Yeah, just like hold on to the desk.
Should I be?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Prepare the drop. Here are some of the latest deals, steals, and games dropping on the PlayStation storefront. Days Gone is out on PC. Something about if you really like it, like buy on day one or whatever. Quote here. Day of Play returns, May 26th to June 9th. Here are some deals you should know about. PS5 games, Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, Sackboy, the Neo Collection. PlayStation 4 games, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Miles Morales, Predator Hunting Grounds, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and The Last of Us Part 2.
How bad does your throat hurt? You haven't done that in a year.
I am just sore. It's been a while.
I love it.
Yeah, I
thought I was coming on for a podcast, but I just witnessed some pro voice acting.
Right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
This summer.
It did sound like it.
That said, so those are all the deals. I'm very, very excited for the Neo collection so I could get pissed off at Neo 1, not touch it again. I love that. Awesome stuff. Days of Play is also coming back. If you're interested in like, there's like new themes, new icons that you can have as well.
So yeah, it was the competition that they had last year where the most trophies earned there was a lucky winner, and they got like an actual platinum trophy sent to them in the mail. This year they're not doing that, but there is like if you participate and you hit certain milestones, you'll get themes for your PS4 or avatars that you can use on your PS5, since themes are not a thing on PS5 anymore. But I really do enjoy them really digging into trophies.
Yeah.
I think trophies are a thing that PlayStation does well, and a big section of that community loves getting trophies. So I love that they're playing into it and actually acknowledging their existence.
Absolutely. And now, Kyle, since we prepared the drop, everybody landed safe. It's time for the Sony Pony Express. Yeah! This is another voice I do. It's another bit, and people get really upset if I don't do it. Anyway, by God. As you all know, we have a set of tubes that I've created on this very internet highway. Okay? We got one tube that you can send your questions in via Twitter. That's at PS Trophy Room. Make sure you follow us. We have another tube for Discord. That's right, Discord. You can send your questions every Wednesday over there or on Patreon, and sometimes even email. You guys can email us as well, your questions in for the week, and then I gather them and we talk about them real quick on the show. So Dano on Twitter writes, what game would you wish to see become Lego-fied? This is a good one. What game?
Meaning a Lego set made based off the game?
I'm thinking like a game. Like, let's take a Mario.
Lego game of that.
Yeah, like a Lego game of that. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I think my answer is The Sim.
Yeah? Okay.
Bloodborne.
Yes, Jess! She knows what show she's
on. Because I was
thinking,
genuinely though, I was thinking like imagine like a Yarnum like Lego kit.
Lego
that would be
set?
super fucking cool. That would be so cool.
That's how excited I am at this. Yeah, like Bloodborne deserves the best, which is Legos. You don't want to get them like it'd suck if it's like Bloodborne Lincoln Logs edition.
Mega Blocks.
Mega Box connects. Oh, gross. Kyle.
Bloodborne Bionicles though.
Oh, Jess. You're speaking to 8-year-old Joe that collected a shit ton of them. Oh my God. Yeah, like
I love Bionicles.
Yeah.
Shit was good.
It was the best. It was the best type of Lego. Kyle, if you get to Lego-fy anything, what would it be?
So earlier when I saw this question, I didn't realize that Dano was asking for a game. So I instantly thought of Stranger Things. A Stranger Things Lego game I think would be super cool.
No, that's
but
great.
If I'm going to take a game and Lego-fy it, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Same.
Give me those dinos.
Damn.
Give me those dinos and black forms. I think that would that'd be great.
Hell yeah. Yeah, y'all both took mine. Bloodborne and Horizon would be it. I would love to see an Uncharted one though. But like they have an Indiana Jones one.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what would be really funny in like a weird messed up way?
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, that'd be so fucked up.
Just Ellie slitting Lego people's throats.
Oh no.
You could switch the head. You know how like they have two faces sometimes.
Switch it, just X's for eyes.
Golf
when you turn it
and
around.
everything. Yeah. God, that's. I don't want to live in y'all heads. That's for sure.
Lego Red Dead Redemption 2 and all the Lego horses have Lego balls.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Absolutely. Oh my God. Dear Dream Studio writes on Twitter, 1, how is Returnal doing sales-wise? 2, if not good, is PlayStation supply and or the $70 price tag to blame or something else? From what I've seen so far, I've seen some naysaying, but I think it's doing pretty damn good. I think only time's going to tell on that one. And I don't know if... I don't really think the $70 price tag is really the thing holding people back. But, I don't know. Jess, you go.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think that the supply is an issue, too, because I feel like a majority of sales are probably digital. And I think it's too early for us to have, like, really solid reports on the numbers of sales.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything holding it back, it's probably just the way that our media consumption works, and that a lot of times people don't like to deviate from already established IPs, or like if they're not games from like the powerhouse like 6 big studios, and so I feel like maybe that's kind of it. And I think that people like, okay, I honestly did not know that it was like a roguelike type game until I started seeing like like people talking about it more, and like the reviews start coming out. Like I thought it was going to be more of like a horror-ish type game.
Oh, it's definitely scares the shit out of you. Trust me. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some moments.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that maybe there just wasn't quite the same push, like that some of these bigger games get, and that could be part of it. But I don't think it's doing poorly.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Go for it, Kyle.
I pulled up a sales chart from Game Rant on May 10th. Returnal was the third most downloaded game in the U.S. and Canada, and the fourth in Europe. For April of 2021, so it's doing fairly well.
Yeah. That is only on the market for 1 day, right? And
yeah. I don't think the price point's affecting it at all. I think the word of mouth is doing wonders for that, and even people who are not into roguelikes want to get rid of that FOMO feeling of fear of missing out and hopping in and seeing what all the new hotness is. Oh god, I hate that I said new hotness.
Oh, is that an illegal word? List. Do you want to ban that?
Yes, please.
That's the word I'll start using.
Yeah, but it's a banger of a game. It's well worth the $70. So
T.
Yeah, it is a banger of a good time. All right. Famous Seamus, the most famous Seamus I've ever met in my entire life. You could write that down. You could put it on paper, send it to the governor because it's true. Got to ask you, what to you were the hardest decisions to make in the Mass Effect series? And this question trickles on in to what you've been playing. Kyle, I am playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I have completed Mass Effect 1, and I'm here to say this game, a game that I couldn't get into, Lil Joe didn't like the Mako so much, this game holds up so darn well. Like, it's absolutely it is somewhat of a relic of its time for sure, but it's so interesting to see the germ of this game go into other RPGs that we love and now we just hold as like staple parts of what an RPG is. You just see it in this game. It's really interesting to see. I loved my time with it, even if the controls were still a little wonky, even if, you know, some of the abilities, if I was an adept, it kind of sucked. You know, some of the guns are completely overpowered, like the pistol or the sniper, but like, I really dug the story that they were telling here, and more importantly, the lore that they're setting up for this entire universe. I almost platinumed this game. I know by the end of the summer, this game will be platinumed because that's how much I'm just absolutely loving Mass Effect 1. And even going into Mass Effect 2, I'm like seeing how the game has evolved. It's just so awesome to see. The hardest decision I had for Mass Effect 1 was, who was I banging? Now, here's the thing. Mass Effect romances, you know, they're pretty much like, okay, all you gotta do is choose. There's nothing hard about it. Whatever. It's everybody's interested in Shep.
Or is everything hard about it, Joe?
Oh, Kyle, you cheeky son of a gun. You're right, because all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I know female Shepard unfortunately can't, you know, do Miranda, my love of my life. Okay. So I'm female Shep. Absolutely love the voice acting, by the way. Jennifer Hale just fucking slays. Oh my God. I was such an idiot doing male Shep one of my first original playthrough because she just owns the role. So I had a choice, and it was the hardest choice in my life. And that is Garrus. What's going on? What do you want? Okay. No. Shoot. My mother comes in. I don't know if you saw her.
No.
She's like, I need the gallon of water. Anyway, the hardest choice in my life was between Garrus or Liara. Liara, she a cutie. But then there's something about Garrus. And I was like, am I going to sleep with Garrus? And I got closer to it. I was like, am I going to bang Garrus? And I got to it, and I banged Garrus. And then I was just like, okay, something felt wrong. Like I just had sex with my friend type of deal, you know? And so I went back to my load save and I chose Liara, and something felt right there. Something felt like she is the one. So as much as I love Garrus, and it was just a fling, my heart went with Liara. But just know, Garrus and I were drunk one day.
So you just had a little experiment.
Exactly. Yeah. It's college. It's college. It doesn't mean anything. I still love you, Garrus. Kyle?
Yeah.
What was the hardest decision here? What and going through Mass Effect, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know you're a fake fan.
How dare you? I'm still not super far. I've only played maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to it. But I feel like the hardest decision going into this, because again, never played 1, 2 is one of my favorites, and I really enjoy 3 as well. Going into this, as I'm playing 2 and 3 back in the day, I'm like, oh man, Ashley, what a great character. I loved Ashley. And then not realizing just how awful of a human being Ashley is in this first game. Mm-hmm. So the hardest decision is how quickly can I get rid of her? It's like, how can I not include her? Why was I still stupid and not really paying attention to because I believe 2 on PS3 had the option of like you pre-choosing all these events from the first game as a way to like kind of catch you up and make that kind of feel natural. And I don't remember if they totally said that Ashley is basically a space racist.
Oh no, she definitely is.
No, I know, but I mean, like, in that little catch-up on PS3 for 2, like, I don't know if they, like, mentioned that in that.
There's, like, a red cap in her drawer. It's insinuated. It's implied. Yeah.
But, like, oh my god, I did not realize just how awful Ashley is in this first game.
Trust me, as a Hispanic, I was automatically attracted to Ashley, and then, like, the first line out of her is like, whoa, lady, back off. I don't know you. Yeah. He really does not like aliens.
Yeah, but I'm having a good time.
Okay, good.
Like you said, it's definitely a product of its time. It's definitely been iterated for good ways in 2 and 3. Like, my god, that menu and
so bad.
Trying to
the
upgrade your
inventory.
weapons and change equipment, and it is definitely a product of its time. But I'm having a great time. Every dialogue, every NPC I walk up to, I know it's weird. I have the same kind of routine. I go to investigate, I ask all the questions, and then I pick my answer. I'm going full Paragon because that's what I do. I find it really hard to be an asshole in a game.
I can't do it either.
Yeah, but I'm excited to keep going because I genuinely love how quickly I was attached to these characters in one. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Jess, I know you got a new job. You got finals. You're busy. Have you been able to
But not too busy for Mass Effect.
Yes! Oh, my God. Yes. Go for it.
I am almost done with the first game now. So.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So, I'm almost done with that one. And...
Is it your first time playing the first one?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Me and that series, we go way back.
Yeah.
I love it. But I have complicated feelings.
Oh, yeah?
I love it. I love it so much, but we're talking about Ashley being bad. I gotta say, a lot of these characters, I love them dearly. They are real problematic. For me, the hardest choice in Mass Effect so far for me has been having to call Garrus a dumbass constantly because he's just a real he's a dumbass.
No,
I'm like,
he's
you
a good
need
boy.
to. He is just Mr. like police brutality right away, and I'm like, sir, you need to calm down. Like
his
he
heart's
really
in the right
is.
place.
I get his heart is in the right place, but I am just like, Garrus, you're real close from being included in ACAB right now. Like, you need to calm down. Like, I love you and you do get better, but like his whole, like literally every interaction you have with him, you go up to him and he's just like, wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to follow laws and we could just beat the shit out of people? And I'm like, dude.
True.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what?
I asked how your day was, Garrus. Oh my God.
It's every single time I go up to him and I'm just like, God, I love you so much. Like, we need to work on this.
Yeah. That's totally right. Now that you said it, he's just like, dude, it's like, I just said, well, how was your lunch? And you're saying, what if I was, judge, jury, and executioner? You need to slow it down.
I don't know, like, and like you'll be having these normal conversations with people too, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I don't know, I think the Arachnite being exterminated was a good thing. I don't know, I think that the Krogan being infertilized was a good thing. And it's like, y'all are just talking about genocide so casually and like making other races extinct.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing about, like, Mass Effect plays into, like, the race card, like, really well. It's like, none of these alien species trust each other, like each other. They have, like, all these biases towards each other, but, like, they're somehow also trying to work with one another to have some type of mutual, not even just, like, goal, but, like, understanding. It's interesting.
It's interesting, and in some ways it's super effective, right? Because like these are like real, like these are real issues that, you know, people face when two societies meet, but at the same time, I feel like at times it feels like a very, very cynical version of like what's to happen. Like I saw a tweet, I don't remember who tweeted it, but they were playing Mass Effect for the first time, and they said Mass Effect is as if they took Star Trek and decided, but like, what if everybody was a piece of shit about it? Because it's kind of a bit true. It's like, it doesn't have that optimism to it. You know what I mean? It's like very much like, you're strange, you're different, I don't like you, but maybe we can get along. And it's a bit rough at times. It really is. Like, I love the game. I have so much fun playing them. I started it and I was like, oh, I'm so busy this week. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to play. But as you can see, I put probably 12 hours into it already. Yeah. I forgot that, like, in Mass Effect 1, the two, like, main planets that you go to do your first, like, couple missions, like, the storylines at those planets are so good. They don't feel just like open world, like, whatever stories. Like, the whole thing with the Arachnite, and then with the why can I not remember the plant type thing that makes the clones on the one.
Yeah, we'll just call him Tony.
Yeah, Tony. The thing with the Arachnite and the thing with Tony, of course. Like, really, like, they're really good stories, and it's really compelling, and, like, it doesn't feel like you're just, like, clicking to get to Saren, right? Like, you're, like, experiencing those stories on those planets.
Yeah, and that's why I think I love Massive, like, the reason why, like, it is, like, you're supposed to have issues with some of these things. Like, I love how it's like a look at Star Trek, but, like, way more cynical. And that's why I always love going Paragon, because it's always like optimism and hope and in the face of diversity. Like, there's an awesome quest where, like, the captain's inspecting your ship, and the captain's like a racist piece of trash, and he's like, this ship is cool and all, but, like, you know, the Turians helped you build it. What's this about? Like, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong. Oh, you got your squad's with a bunch of aliens. What's wrong with you? And you could answer like a complete dick, or you'd be like, no, these people get it done. This ship is, you know, unlike any other in the fleet. It's one of a kind because of the people that are inside of it that make it this way. And that's what makes Mass Effect really awesome for me, because I'm very much of that same type. It's like hope, optimism in the face of uncertainty is always the thing that hits me at my core the most, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think, like I said, there are some things, I think that going back and having kind of different views than I had maybe, 10 years ago when I first played, because the game is very militaristic, but then again, like 90% of video games are, so it's like,
true.
It kind of just is the state of things. But I do agree with you. I feel like you are rewarded for kind of having like that optimism there. I mean, even like I did something last night when I was playing. There's like some protests going on in like the Citadel. And this guy's like, hey, can you endorse me? And you talk to him about like what his stances are for you to endorse him. And he's like a real Trumpy type dude. And I was like, no, I'm not endorsing you because like I'm not racist is basically what she ends up saying, or like I don't see like aliens as like a threat that we need to increase our military spending to blah blah blah. And like you get Paragon points for that, for not leaning into the militarism. So it's interesting because at times I feel like the game has messages that kind of work against each other. Because there are like those subtle ways that violence and the military and all that and like individualism, like Shepard being like the sole like like protector of the galaxy and stuff like that, and having all of that on him rather than it being something that feels more, I don't know, community based, but at the same time, like that's just how video games are. It falls into a lot of the traps that video games just fall into because they're video games.
No, that was
fair.
Yeah, I loved our talk. This is super freaking interesting. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Just one more real quick thing about that. Since this is my first time playing Mass Effect 1, I am in awe and shock of how quickly I loathe Saren.
Oh,
from the instant that Saren shows up, I'm like, this creature, this being, needs to go away forever. Just like it's the way that character is written, the on-screen actions that you see very early on, you clearly can tell that there is no good in Saren whatsoever. I'm excited to learn more. I'm excited to keep going into it, but I now understand when people are like, yeah, Mass Effect 2 with like the Reapers and the suicide mission, cool, but like Saren is like another level of villain, and I'm very excited to keep going with that.
Well, I think what's cool with Saren, like I'm really glad that you brought him up, compared to the other games, is like Saren isn't like, I have ultimate power, I'm the most powerful thing, and that's why I am the bad guy and I'm doing all this. Like, they, at multiple points, they say he's very charismatic. He's manipulative. And it's also ironic that this charismatic, manipulative person is, like, manipulated by his goals. So it's kind of interesting that that's like what's at work here. It's not about a battle of who has the biggest guns at this point. Like, and part of that frustration with Saren is it's not the fact that he is like this unstoppable force, right? Part of what frustrates you in Mass Effect 1, and it kind of in a lesser extent happens in 2, is the fact that like the powers that be could help you. Like, they could help you get this guy, but they're bogging it down. And that's why it's like you have somebody who, like Garrus, who's like, well, wouldn't it be great? And it's like, part of he's like, yeah, sure, but like there is a process. But also, what about when the process fails people and people are going to die because these people won't act on it? So like, Saren's an interesting villain. And I think that like Mass Effect 2 put the series, like set up the series and set up the whole story in a very interesting way. And like, having it be like this more personal, low stakes story at the start and then kind of escalate was a very good call.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you talk about it, Jess. Honest to goodness, it like I was completely enthralled. It was so freaking deep. Thank you. First and
you're
foremost,
very sweet.
Yeah, I was just like, damn. I'm just like, yes, Saren bad. And you're like, you're giving me all these deep and like philosophical replies. It's all amazing. That said, that's pretty much it for the trophy room. This has been a fantastic week. Kyle, anything you'd like to spotlight before you go?
Absolutely. I'd like to spotlight myself, Mr. KStep, on Twitter and on PSN. You can find all the indie game coverage I do over at 61indie.com and 61indie on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all the places. This weekend on Saturday from 6 p.m. Eastern to midnight, we're going to be doing a 6-hour charity stream for Palestinian children in need. So come check out, donate whatever you can. And I love you very much.
I'll be there as well. Sweet. I love you so much. You're doing so many great things. Jess, honest to goodness, I had an absolute blast having you here. We need to have you on again because your insight is just amazing. I talked you up too much this episode. Where can people find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at @awildjessachu, and honestly, everything is kind of linked from there. So, I live on Twitter. That's like my little hole in the ground. So.
Excellent. And before we head on off, I want to thank everybody. We've been doing a review blitz giveaway for Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart. If we hit over 200 reviews worldwide, we're going to be giving away a copy of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We're almost there. We're like in the teens away from hitting 200. So go over there, rate us 5 stars. Your responses to us, your messages to us have been just the thing that's been keeping me level-headed the past few days. So I want to shout out Drake Drizzy Dragon, who gave us a 5-star review and says, amazing. The title says it all. I work at Costco, and in the super early morning before we're open, I listen to every week at work. I can't wait to listen I can't wait to see the notification that there was a new episode. Thank you so freaking much, man. Thank you so much. That means the world to us. Again, it's what we always say in the beginning of the show. We got you through a long day at work, car ride, whatever the case is. That review really made me happy right here in my old heart. That said, you can find me over at Mr. Badbit. You can find this show over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. You can find the video version of this show on YouTube at the Trophy Room channel. You can find the Trophy Room podcast wherever you find your podcast services, like Apple Podcasts, rate us 5 stars, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast services. You can find the show there. With all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you. Keep hunting. Keep playing PlayStation. Love y'all.